and welcome to the third episode of Re-Solved Mysteries podcast. So this is the episode where we get our shit together. Thanks for bearing with us. We just started doing this. We're learning the equipment. I'm learning not to drink so much rosé. And, you know, all new podcasts have growing pains. We do realize that there are like a gazillion podcasts out there. And if you're still listening, then you're super awesome. And we promise to not disappoint you all of the time. We have a website, and it's resolvedmysteriespodcast.com. You can contact us there. And we also have a P.O. box now. Don't send us weird mail, but if you want to send mail, it's P.O. Box 14005, Portland, Oregon, 92793. And I have to say that my whole life I've wanted a P.O. box, and my dreams are coming true. So thanks, guys. Today, whenever you're listening, we're going to be talking about Susan Laferte and Doreen Picard, Louis Carlucci, the heart attacker / con Juan, Diane Brodbeck, and the treasure of Thomas J. Beele. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. It would be super awesome for you to subscribe. And if you like us, then leave a review and tell a friend. We're on Instagram at re_solvedmysteries. I already said resolvedmysteriespodcast.com. I was super excited because I just set that up this week. So we were lying the first two episodes when we said that you could contact us there because we didn't actually have that domain, but I fought and killed for it. So we're ready to go. Let's get started. The first segment of episode 3, season 1, which we're watching on Amazon Prime if you want to watch along with us, is Susan Laferte and Doreen Picard. The title, segment title, like when it comes in and it's all animated, is amnesia. But I think it also could be called witness or murder or what the fuck, because this story is pretty fucking crazy. February 19th, 1982, 3:30 p.m. in Woonsocket, Rhode Island. I know.
No.
Woonsocket?
I think, right? That's what it said.
I don't remember that, but that is horrifying.
I don't want to live there.
No.
I think. I don't know. I should have actually looked it up to see if it's a real place, but that's what the closed caption said.
If you live
Good
in
Lord.
Woonsocket, let us know.
What must have happened there?
I mean, maybe
to name it that.
Because Woonsocket's a little
Scary.
Yeah. All right. So Doug Henderson comes home from work to his apartment, and he goes into the hallway and sees his neighbor, Susan Laferte's 3-year-old daughter, Nicole. She's locked out of the apartment. Doug says in his, talking head, he has a super heavy Rhode Island accent. He sounds like Peter Griffin from Family Guy.
Oh, yeah.
Like I would try to imitate it, but I don't want to insult anybody and humiliate myself. But he says that he knew something was wrong as soon as he saw the little girl alone in the hallway. He asks Nicole where her mother is, and she says she was, quote, downstairs lying down. Oh, which is like actual, like, fucking horror movie. Like, kids in horror movies always use the term lying down and, like, the person's always dead. Like,
yes. Yes.
And she's like alone in the hallway.
Oh my God,
like,
she's
creepy
3.
as fuck.
She's 3.
Yeah. Just as you're listening, when I was watching this, I think I said, no, the whole time. So if you need to say that while you're listening, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine because it's super upsetting. So it does not seem good because the downstairs was the laundry room. So, like, there wouldn't really be any occasion for her mom
Napping?
to take a, like, little snooze,
Taking a snooze in the laundry.
Doug goes downstairs and he finds, initially, he finds a body. It isn't Susan Laferte's body, but the body of the other woman is lying up against the dryer. And from the reenactment, she looked super, super violently abused. Like, her head is wedged between the washer and the dryer. I don't know how, like, authentic the reenactments are for the crime scene, but it's very upsetting.
Yes.
And then I read that she had been bludgeoned so violently that emergency medical workers initially assumed that there had been a shooting. They thought someone shot her in the face. Yeah.
No.
God.
Yeah.
And the little girl saw that.
Yeah.
Too, probably.
I don't know what I don't think she saw anything in the laundry room. Like, she was in the hallway, so I don't think she saw anything in the laundry room. I'm not sure, but like, we'll get to it because they do describe it. So then he says he turns his head to the left, which I thought was like a really weird way to, I don't know, I feel like I would have been like, I looked around. But he turns his head to the left, and he sees Susan Laferte's body in a puddle of blood. Yeah, man. The two women were brutally assaulted and left for dead. Doreen Picard, who was 22, was pronounced dead at the scene. Susan Laferte, who is 27, is barely alive.
And that's the girl's mom, right?
Yeah, and that's Nicole's mother. They show two pictures to show, who these people are. 22-year-old Doreen is like glowing, gorgeous. Like, I mean, she just looks like an angel. And Susan, I find this a little funny because I'm a mother, but Susan, who's only 5 years older, looks like she's 40 because like everyone over the age of 25 in 1980 looked like they were 40 fucking years old.
Yep.
It's like once you hit 25, like that's it. You needed a giant pair of glasses, a weird haircut, and like dowdy clothing.
I thought the same thing.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
And what's his name?
Yes.
What's his name from episode 2?
Yeah. What is
He
his
looks
name?
so old. And he was like 26.
Yeah, it's really
Jerry
crazy.
Strickland.
Jerry Strickland.
Yeah, it's really crazy. And I also wrote because having a kid ages you like 100 times faster than not having one.
I thought that's where you were going first.
Well, it's the truth. Like, I mean, it's science. Like, having children makes you super old and look super
Gonna be
old.
young forever.
It's like when the president, like if you look at Obama in 08
Yeah.
compared to 12 and then
Yeah,
yeah.
because we were all his
some
children.
shit.
Yeah, I mean, we were all his children. He had a lot of children.
he had so many children.
Yeah, and I have one child, and I've aged a lot in the
Come
last
back.
few years.
Daddy.
Okay, so, oh my God. Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's great. That's good stuff. Okay, so Susan underwent surgery for 2.5 hours. I do have to say, in the reenactment, they show her post-surgery, and like they don't show her. They show an actress, obviously. This actress looks amazing. Like, she looks gorgeous. The makeup person gave her like a super rosy blushed cheek, I guess, to like indicate that she had an injury, and then just used like purple and blue eyeshadow to give her like the fucking hottest black eye ever.
Ooh.
It's amazing. Like it's super funny. I mean, we know that they didn't have a lot of budget, and it's very obvious that someone just like opened up their compacts in their makeup bag
From their own home.
Yeah, and they were like, "Let's just." I mean, that's good. That's good.
Bruises are purple, right?
Oh my God, it is the sexiest like bruised face I've ever seen. And it's like, I can imagine anyone on set being like, Marcy fucking nailed it with that black eye. Like, Marcy's the name of the makeup girl I just invented.
Yeah, you were there.
Yeah. So Susan survives, but is in a deep coma, and she has 24-hour police protection because they were worried that since a witness was left, the murderer might come back. 30 days later, she comes out of a coma and has total amnesia. She can't recall anything about the assault. They interview her, and she's in shadow for her safety. She says she doesn't know anything. She doesn't know what he looked like. And 6 years later, at this point, they have no motive. Susan was a mother. Doreen was a student who rented from Laferte. And she was actually packing to move from the building on the day she was murdered. She was going to move.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Fucking fuck.
Timings.
Fuck that. The day of the attack, Susan had lunch with her sister, Carol Rivet. And at 1:30, the two friends... Stax uses the term friends, obviously. I would not use that term. Came to the door. Carol said that she knew one of the guys, but didn't know the other. She also doesn't fucking say the name of the guy that she knew. Like, I don't think that would be libelous to say, like, if it's a fact that this person came to the door and then somebody was murdered later, it's just a witness statement, but she doesn't say the name of the guy that she knew.
That's true.
Yeah. Susan said that they were going to the basement to look at some puppies that she was selling and talked to them for 5 minutes and left. Carol left at 1:45, and that was the last time anyone saw Susan before the attack. So sometime between 1:45 and 3:20, 2 women were attacked. That's like not even 2 hours. The murder is described by a detective as a frenzied attack, and they never say anything about sexual assault. And I'm guessing they would have.
Yeah, I
back
think
then.
so.
You think? Yeah, right.
Yeah, because in the Jerry Strickland episode, I was thinking maybe they won't talk about that, but Robert Stack does say he was a rapist.
Yeah. Okay.
And that surprised me, so I feel like they would say something.
Okay. So it doesn't then, and also like they keep saying there's no motive, and if there was an attack, they would have said it was sexual motive.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so there's one witness, but it's Susan's 3-year-old daughter.
No. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this part made me so mad.
I know. I'm going to like either throw up or start crying. It turns out that 3-year-old Nicole let the guy in.
I'm not mad at the kid.
No.
Just so
the
sad.
The fucking horror that you must like have to deal with and live with,
Yeah,
and
living
like
with that, even though it's obviously not her
no,
fault.
obviously there isn't even a conversation where it might be her fault, but it doesn't matter. Your brain doesn't work that way.
No.
Like the years and years of like therapy and
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine that. Like my heart breaks for
Yes.
this woman. It truly does. So she let the person in. And the description she gave was, she said he was bigger than her father, had a mustache, a backward-facing cap, sneakers, and jeans. She heard her mother crying, and as she went downstairs, he came up, and she saw a bloody towel hanging out of his back pocket, which she called a red and white polka dot.
No.
I know.
Oh my gosh,
This
I
is
forgot
like-
about all of this.
I know, this is so upsetting. And he walked out the door. So the murderer wiped down the murder weapon, which was a pipe, and he stashed it in the house in a closet, actually. They didn't find it for 4 days. And online people were like, what the fuck? Why wouldn't they find it? Like, they're lazy. But if they thought that they had been shot in the face, like if the attack was so
They wouldn't
violent,
need to look for anything.
they weren't looking
Yeah.
maybe for a pipe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
They have found bullets, though.
yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, it gets weird. So it gets so fucking weird. Okay. So the detective says that Nicole's story changed too much. And since she was under so much stress and so traumatized.
And she's 3.
Yeah.
She's 3 years old.
Yeah. I know. I'm thinking about like all of the 3-year-olds
Yes.
that I know. Yeah.
I'm thinking about 10-year-olds that I know that never
Ask
tell
me
the same
today
story.
what happened to me
Exactly.
today. I'll tell you 2 different times and it'll be a completely different story.
Like, don't.
I'm non-trustworthy.
Yeah. I mean,
That is the part that I thought you were getting to when I said this made me so mad, because it's like they didn't even say, well, of course it is. She's 3.
yeah.
But they should have said, of course it's changing. She's 3.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and also like, her grandmother was involved, and I think that they thought that the grandmother might be influencing what she was saying for some reason. So they basically just discount everything that Nicole says. So a detective interviewed makes a really good point that there are 2 victims. So they each have their own social circle, their own family, their own drama, their own issues.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, there are 2 newspaper ads, one for puppies and one for Doreen's soon-to-be vacated apartment, where the phone number was given and presumably the address, I think, right? I don't know how information worked back then, but I think you could probably find out an address
Yeah.
from a phone number. They show the listing, and the apartment was like a nice 3-bedroom with off-street parking for $175 a month.
Oh, that's a steal.
Imagine, like $175 a month for a 3 fucking bedroom.
Steal
like
of a deal.
that just makes me want to cry too. Like,
Also that.
oh my god, my New York City heartbreaking right now.
Oh, your Portland heartbreaking.
Yeah, that's true. The detective then wows us by saying it was either a friend, a family member, or a stranger.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you for narrowing
Thanks.
it down.
Yeah, I was wondering why I didn't write his name down, and then I wrote, "Thank you, Detective What's Your Face, for clearing that up." So I thought he was a dummy. So since the murder, Doreen's family at that point had been conducting their own investigation, which they believed led to a series of threatening phone calls. The person that called said they would burn down Doreen's dad's garage or come after his children. And then Susan then closes by saying that she's worried that he's still out there. Then the update comes on. And over a still of the man holding a pipe, the copy reads, Raymond Tempest did it and was sentenced to 85 years and has since been released. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
Math.
Major update, guys.
What the fucking fuck? This story has everything. It's got 2 young women, a child witness, amnesia, fucking threatening phone calls, and a 3-bedroom for $175 a month. And all we get is one fucking sentence. Like, all right. So
Tell us what happened, Allison.
I'm gonna. So here's what I found out. Turns out that the guys who came to the house about the puppies were family friends. One man's name was Raymond, quote, Beaver. Tempest Jr. and his friend. I know.
This is our second vagina.
Oh, Cooter and Beaver. I bet they hung out with each other.
Oh my God, I just can't even. Like, was it that clever? Like,
Yeah, is that all people had?
I don't know. I'm hoping he just had buck teeth or something.
I really hope. Maybe Beaver wasn't a thing then.
Yeah.
Or a big flat tail. I don't know. You gotta have a reason.
You could always see Beaver coming a mile away. What's the name of your sex tape? Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Brooklyn.
Nicely
Nine-Nine.
done.
Thank you. All right. So, so when I was like, what was the friend's name? Like, Carol, you dummy, tell me the friend's name. I'm thinking maybe Carol didn't say Beaver's name because Beaver's brother. I'm going to just keep calling him Beaver. So,
Okay.
I'll
so,
have to deal
so
with
just
it.
like
That.
get right with that.
Okay.
Get right with it. Beaver's brother, Gordon Tempest, was a lieutenant on the Woonsocket police force, and their father, Raymond Tempest Sr., was chief inspector at the time of the murder. It was alleged that Beaver used his familial connections within the department to cover up the crime. His motive, apparently, was that he was having an affair with Susan, Mrs. Amnesia, and returned to the apartment house shortly after picking up the puppy, where he attacked her during a confrontation in the basement. Doreen was murdered because she happened to walk into the basement and witness the attack.
Oh, no.
Yeah. In 1991, Beaver was indicted for Doreen's murder, though he could not be charged with attacking Susan since the fucking statute of limitations was up.
goodbye.
God, fucking fuck. Like, really? Can we just know more of that?
Can we not?
No
we
more.
just-
What good are they doing?
I don't
No
know.
good.
Yeah. They're like, oh, just wait it out, and we'll forget that you beat a woman almost to death with a
Yes,
fucking
and-
metal pipe in front of her 3-year-old. It's chill. Just wait it out. Like, so the evidence was pretty damning. Testimony from 4 witnesses. I list them out. I mean, I guess I can list them. John Guerrero, Donna Carrier, Ronald Vaz, and Loretta Rivard, who all claim that they heard Beaver confess to the crime at various points. Beavers.
I can't with the
I
beaver.
can't take it seriously. I'm
You
sorry.
know those beavers, they're always confessing.
Do it.
Yeah, okay. The only piece of evidence which placed Beaver at the murder scene was the sighting of a maroon sedan by Lisa Wells, a teenage tenant of the apartment house who claimed that she saw the vehicle parked outside when she returned to her apartment that afternoon.
Good job, honey.
Good job, girl. Vigilante.
Oh, man. When Lisa's stepfather arrived home and discovered the 2 victims, he didn't see the vehicle. So the implication was that the killer was still in the basement when Lisa fucking came home. I know. Like, there's so many, like, fuck that shit, like, in this segment. There's so many moments. So later that afternoon, a friend of Beaver's named Sherry Richards saw him get dropped off by Beaver's brother-in-law, Bobby Montiero, who was driving a maroon sedan. Beaver initially lied about his alibi. He claimed he lied, though, because he was attempting to buy cocaine and smoking pot with Bobby Montanero, and he didn't want to embarrass his family because they're all cops. Montanero could have functioned as an alibi witness, but it invoked his Fifth Amendment privilege whenever he was called to testify. No one knew why. They couldn't be certain if Montanero was doing this to avoid incriminating himself in the murder or drug activity. And, like, this fucking case is bananas. So, like, the chief of police's eldest son is having an affair, scoring blow, hanging out with people named
Yes.
Bobby Montanero. Looks like fucking
Trouble. Come on.
fucking Sopranos. Like, it's
It
amazing.
literally.
So Beaver was found guilty of second-degree murder and sentenced to 85 years in prison. Gordon Tempest, his brother, was indicted on 7 counts of perjury and served 7 years in prison for lying to cover for his brother.
Wait, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Sorry, is that who was also at the door?
No,
Oh.
John Allard was
John
the other.
Allard
yeah,
was the
so
other person
he
at the
doesn't
door.
come up again.
Okay.
Like, you don't really hear anything about him.
Weird.
Yeah, super weird. But both Beaver and Gordon Tempest maintained their innocence.
Shocking.
Yeah, well, okay. Then Beaver got in touch with the New England Innocence Project, who I fucking love the Innocence Project. I donate to it every year. Everyone should donate to it. It's amazing. They've exonerated a ton of people on death row. They're a great a great nonprofit. And they don't take just like any cases. There has to be evidence of like, you know,
mistrial and
miss whatever.
Just Adnan.
Yeah.
Just go listen to Serial Season.
Just go listen to fucking Serial. So the Innocence Project found some stuff, and they were like, I don't know. There's no physical evidence tying Beaver to the murder.
Oh, great.
Which, like, if you beat somebody, like, to death, you're probably going to leave some kind of physical evidence. The Woonsocket PD had done a lousy job of securing the scene, and the prosecution even admitted this at Beaver's trial in order to explain the lack of physical evidence. So the prosecutor was basically like, we fucked this up. That's why there's no shit there. Like, womp womp. He still did it.
Oh.
DNA testing was performed on 3 hairs found in Doreen's hand, and while the while the results were inconclusive on one of the hairs, the results were inconclusive on one of the hairs. It excluded Beaver as the owner of the other 2. However, since the hairs did not have roots attached and came from 2 different people, it's possible they didn't belong to Doreen's attacker and they were just random hair from the laundry floor. So,
and if it's not roots, she probably wasn't pulling it out.
Yeah, exactly. No. Yeah. And there's, I mean, I'm imagining so much blood.
But how are there not like fingerprints somewhere? Bloody fingerprints.
Like something. And
if
again,
you beat
like
this
this
woman
was
to a pulp, like
such a short amount of time. Like it's crazy.
Right. That's what like places him there. Like, well, it would make sense he had just knocked on their door, her door.
So even though this is super interesting to me too. Even though the alleged motive for the crime was Beaver's affair with Susan Laferte, her amnesia issues prevented her from confirming or denying the affair. Which, girl, okay. Also, Susan was best friends with Beaver's wife, which, if they were having an affair, hella shitty. However, Nicole would have recognized Beaver if she let him in and told her grandmother or the police that it was Beaver because he was around all of the time. There's no way unless
they went somewhere else.
I mean, I think unless like she psychologically just like blocked the whole thing out, but she did give a description and it wasn't a Beaver.
Oh, you mean like he was over all the time just because they were best friends?
Yeah.
He was like a family they were having an affair.
Yeah, no. He was like a family friend. So like they like same birthday parties, same kind of stuff. Like she knew who he was. Also, Susan did admit to having 2 extramarital affairs in 1981 and 82, but because of her memory loss, she could not be certain if one of the affairs was with Beaver.
Okay, girl.
Oh my God.
All right.
That's like all of my 20s. I'm like, did I? I can't remember. It's fine. And I'm sure like her loving husband was over the moon about that.
Yeah.
Also, the 4 witnesses who testified to overhearing Beaver confess to the crime all had various issues with drugs, alcoholism, and criminal activity. So they probably got sweet deals or, you know, it was easy to believe the police could have pressured or coerced them into testifying. So the Innocence Project of New England was able to poke holes in some of the stories. For example, Ronald Vaz claimed that Beaver made incriminating statements while visiting Vaz's farm, but property records revealed that Vaz didn't even own the farm until like months later. So the state's star witness was initially supposed to be one of Beaver's friends, Danny Shaw, who claimed he was with Beaver when the crime took place, and that Bobby Montanaro drove them there. However, Shaw was a known alcoholic and drug user, and he had an extensive criminal record. So he kept changing and recanting his story, so he didn't testify.
He's like a 3-year-old.
Yeah, exactly. But they were going to put him on the stand. So I wrote, but wait, there's more. So follow me here because this is fucking crazy. All right. In 1987, Gordon Tempest was involved in busting a chop shop and arresting a criminal named Stanley Irza, I-R-Z-A, who happened to be the brother-in-law of Rodney Rembold, one of the investigators on the case. So you have that?
Okay.
One of the guys investigating the case had a brother with a chop shop.
Okay.
And Gordon Tempest, busted his brother's chop shop. Irza cut himself a deal by providing information to Rodney Rembold, his brother-in-law, which implicated Beaver Tempest in Doreen Pritchard's murder.
What?
Yeah. It was rumored that because he disliked Gordon Tempest, Rembold made it his mission to pin the crime on Gordon's brother and use the case as a stepping stone to eventually become Woonsocket's chief of police.
What?
Yeah, dude. I'm not done. There's more. So, we're always trying to figure out, like, who did it. I think that the whole fucking town did it.
Seriously.
Like, this is a shit show.
All the brothers of any brother did it.
On the police force or in a criminal organization did it. Like, this is bananas. So, compelling evidence pointed to another unrelated suspect named Donald Degasse, who died in 2011. Degasse, or Degasse, attended a get-together after Doreen's funeral, and Nicole reportedly saw him and whispered the words, "I think that's the man who boomed Mama."
No.
Oh my God. What?
I have goosebumps, yeah.
Me
so
too.
Yeah, it's so upsetting. But in contrast, like I said before, Nicole crossed paths with Beaver Tempest on numerous occasions following the crime, and she never reacted or identified him or, she knew him. While recovering in the hospital, Susan was asked to identify her attacker and wrote out some letters from Degasse's name. And when a detective read out a list of random names and asked Susan to nod if he named her attacker, she nodded when she heard Degasse's name. However, after she made a full recovery, Susan claimed to have no memory of this questioning or naming Degasse as her attacker. And then I write, fucking Susan's killing me with this amnesia.
Well,
really?
do you want to talk about how you feel about amnesia?
I think amnesia is bullshit. I mean, I don't have the statistics on hand, and because I'm sober, I'm not just going to make them up. But I think that in reality, amnesia happens way less than unsolved mysteries seem to think it did.
Trauma happens.
Trauma happens.
And this is reminding me of Strange Piece of Paradise, which is the book written by Terry Jentz. Her and her friend, I'm forgetting her friend's name, but they were attacked by the Axemen in Oregon camping in the 70s. And Terry Jentz goes back. It's amazing. Everyone should read it or listen to it. But Terry Jentz goes back to understand what happened because they haven't caught the attempted murderer, and her friend, who was her best friend, who also got attacked, claims that she has amnesia, and so will not or hasn't talked to Terry about it, and Terry's needs that camaraderie because she does remember everything
for sure,
and I don't want to victim blame and say that her friend, and I'm so sorry I'm forgetting her name, maybe she really doesn't remember, but there's also something huge about trauma that it's also easier to just try to brush things off and say I forget, so no one will talk to you about it. And again, if they really have amnesia, no victim blaming, but
it's just true
very hard.
It's literally a survival method.
Absolutely.
I think of the keepers when I think of blocking out large chunks of your memory past.
Trauma.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Trauma your body will be shut down.
I'm not going to record this. I'm not going to think about this.
That's really interesting. Because the women from the Keepers, it was 20 years later, 25 years later.
And she was even doubting herself the entire time.
Wow.
Am I making this up? It's crazy.
Yeah. So Susan, after comes out of the coma, she says that she doesn't remember doing either of those things. She says that she can't remember from January 1st to February 19th. And then I write, this story had better be fucking real, Susan, because you were holding out on a lot of information. Degasse also reportedly made incriminating statements to Susan's sister-in-law while visiting her in the hospital. They don't say what it was. And a woman who received anonymous phone calls from someone confessing to the crime thought that the caller sounded like Degasse. So, still going. In July 2015, a state superior court judge decided to vacate Beaver Tempest's conviction. While he did not feel the DNA evidence was strong enough to exonerate Beaver, there were 2 incidents of prosecutorial misconduct which made him rule that he did not get a fair trial and the conviction should be vacated. December 2017, Beaver Tempest entered an Alford plea, which meant that he maintained his innocence but agreed that there was enough evidence to convict him.
What? I have never heard
Tell me
of
more
that.
about this.
Ladies, an Alford plea? Are you serious?
No.
Alford?
ALFORD plea. So it's what Michael Peterson took in The Staircase. It's what the 3 men who were boys at the time for the West Memphis 3.
Right.
So basically, it's a way for, I think, and again, I don't know for sure, but I think it's a way for the law or like the police and the lawyers and the prosecutors and stuff to say, this isn't our fault that you got convicted. Like, there was enough evidence to convict you, but maybe you didn't do it, kind of thing. Now, I don't think it's the same for everybody because this implies that he maintained his innocence. But I know that in Michael Peterson's case, he had to admit guilt. And I think also in the case of the West Memphis Three, they had to admit guilt also.
Yeah, that's why I didn't put it together with that.
I guess I don't know the ins and outs of it, but
So what happened to him? He said he was innocent, but yes, he agreed there was enough to convict him.
Yeah.
Even though that's weird because isn't it like there was no physical evidence?
Yeah, I think it's sort of like we know or we think that you didn't do this. Or either you had a really good lawyer and you got off and fuck us, or you didn't do it.
There was enough circumstantive evidence.
Circumstantive.
Oh my God. I'm going to put that on a t-shirt. Yeah, so I don't know. I always thought the Alford plea, and I think it's Alfred or Alford, was that you had to admit guilt, but you got to get out of jail, and that's why people took it. Like, I know...
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, like, I know that one of the three of the West Memphis Three, Jason, is still upset that he had to say that he did it. And the other two kind of are like... whatever, let's just get the fuck out of here. Yeah. And in the documentary, God, what's it called? Shit. It's on HBO. It's amazing. But it's a West Memphis 3 documentary, and it's the third part of a 3-part documentary. Jason is, like, they're interviewing Jason, and he's saying, I don't want to take this. Like,
is it Paradise Lost?
Yes, Paradise Lost. Thank you. He's saying, like, I don't want to take this. Like, we didn't do it. Why are we admitting guilt? And the other two are just like, let's just fucking take it.
Yeah.
So that was the first time I had ever heard of an Alford plea, and that's what I thought it meant. I thought you had to say that you did it.
Yeah.
And that you got to leave jail. And that you basically also couldn't sue. Like, you can't sue if you said that you did it. That's what I thought it was. But now this Tempest issue is he said that he didn't do
innocence,
it. Yeah. So I really don't know. So that's it, basically. Degassi is dead, and it didn't seem like the hair in her hands had a root, so even if one of his family members agreed to be tested for DNA, it wouldn't matter. So it's pretty much like... I have a quote that Doreen Picard's younger sister, Catherine Sawicki, read at the hearing for the Alford plea. And we'll post the whole thing online, but she gave some more specific information about the attack, and one of the things she said was, not only was she bludgeoned to death, but she was also strangled with her own sweater. There was any blood that remained in her lifeless body because every last beat of her heart pumped and emptied her life into the basement of 409 Providence Street.
Oh my God.
She said, we made preparations at the funeral home. I recall the discoloration of her face, uncharacteristic bright lipstick.
Oh my God.
And Mimsy Fourier, I guess, who was the makeup artist, apologized for the thick makeup masking Doreen's brutally beaten figure. Her head had to be pieced together and her hair arranged to shroud the devastation. Dad pulled me away as I hugged my big sister, but before I let go, I felt the raised stitching from the Y incision.
Oh my God.
Yeah, man. It's fucking brutal. So, although it seems like the sister and the family are convinced that Susan was the target, and Doreen tried to either save her or was wrong time, wrong place, there are some commenters who believe the opposite. Some commenters, and this is all obviously just the internet now talking, Doreen was bludgeoned more violently. She was also strangled with her sweater, which can be considered overkill. And there was a boyfriend in the picture, but it never seemed like he was a suspect, and he isn't really talked about anywhere. If the question remains, if Degassi did attack Laferte and kill Picard, what was the connection, and what did Degassi have over the Woonsocket Police Department that they would work so hard to convict someone else who had police connections? I mean, it's crazy. So basically, it's like they sent one cop's brother to jail instead of sending this guy to jail who had connections. It's been suggested that it seems like the police might have known that it was Degassi and covered it up. Like when they said they didn't take Nicole seriously when she gave the description and pointed him out at the funeral. And maybe Susan was afraid of him, and that's why she said she couldn't remember like nodding when they asked if it was him. Like maybe, I don't know, like maybe he has a reputation.
Yeah.
So the case technically remains unsolved, although the internet seems pretty convinced it was Degassi. I did solve the mystery of why a 3-bedroom apartment with off-street parking was only $175 a month. And I'm thinking it's because Woonsocket, Rhode Island is apparently a nightmare city of murderers, cokeheads, police corruption, and like mafia people.
Yeah, and murder basements.
Like murder basements. I just want to look up, I should have looked up the population, but like it would kill me if there was like 2,000 people. Like what is happening in Woonsocket, Rhode Island? So that's the story of Susan Laferte and Doreen Picard, and I'll post the sources on the episode guide on our website. And I also did want to say, and we haven't said this before, but on our website we're going to post all of our sources. I personally pull from a lot of different places, so reading them all out would take too long. But if you do have any questions or you want to read more about anything, we'll always have our source information on the website. So that's the super devastating, really confusing, and way layered than I thought it was going to be follow-up for Susan Laferte and Doreen Picard.
That's so sad.
Is Nicole still alive?
I don't know. I think I didn't look for her actively, but I think if she is, she changed her. I know that she got married and changed her name.
Okay.
But they didn't say what she changed her name to. So I'm not sure.
She's probably not.
I mean, she's young.
Yeah.
She was 3 in 1988.
Yeah.
So, like, she's younger than I am.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's like us walking around. Oh,
yeah. It's, like, really, really upsetting. And I hope wherever she is that she is doing well and she knows that she's a survivor, because this is a fucking terrible, unbelievably nightmare situation.
Okay, well, that segment's super hard to follow. Allison, you did amazing.
Thank you.
It's super heartbreaking. For this one, we have a fraud segment, which is the least you could say, I suppose. Fraud is the nicest way to put it. This is the story of Louis Carlucci.
Carmucci was what I wrote the first time.
Carmucci.
Oh my gosh!
I love
Carmucci.
I love that they call it.
Also mooching off of them.
Oh my God! Wordplay. I love that they call him Con Juan. I'm like,
Con Juan is so good.
But it's so racist.
Why?
His name is not Juan in any way.
But it's like Don Juan.
Don Juan.
The Casanova.
Oh, that's true.
Like you're a real Don Juan.
Yeah. Like, isn't Don Juan the Casanova guy?
Yes, 100%. It's because he was like winning women over.
Isn't he the one that like ate oysters and had sex with hundreds of women or whatever?
I don't know. I was going to say, I'm glad you said that, because I was going to say it was racist. I'm not going to say anything about it.
No. It's a full-on reference to Don Juan.
Yeah.
This is the story of Louis Carlucci.
The heart attacker.
The heart attacker. Heart attacker.
Ooh.
He attacks the hearts. So, did they call him Louis or Louis? They called him Louis in the show, right?
I think it's Louis.
Okay, Louis. So, Louis Carlucci arrives in Forest Hills, which is a suburb of New York City, in 1981. So this is a bit before this would have aired. All he has is a garment bag with his suit in it. He begins working at a diner as a short order cook. And in September of 1981, he meets Barbara, which is not her real name. And 7 weeks later, they're married. So then Barbara...
I just want to say for the record that this is the second time that we're talking about two people who had been only dating a short amount of time and got married, because Shannon and Dave Davis. He killed her after 7 weeks of marriage.
7 weeks.
I just want to reiterate that
maybe there's a recurring theme.
Yeah.
It is
different
horrifying.
times for sure.
Yeah.
Different times.
Different
Okay.
times for sure.
Okay.
So then Barbara, if you're watching, Barbara comes up and her voice is altered and her face is blacked out. She doesn't want her real identity to be known. But she talks about Louis? Shit.
I think it's Louis.
Okay, sorry.
I really think it's Louis.
It's okay.
Louis Carlucci, and how first impression of him at the bar, she felt like he had no style and no class. And I wrote, trust those first impressions and walk away. Not victim blaming, but like literally, if you think someone has no style and no class, this is for all you listeners, walk the other way.
Okay, well, my husband was a hippie when I met him.
Did he have class though?
Okay, he did for sure.
Yeah,
okay.
I just want to like
puka shells. Okay, but
no, not puka shells.
I want to say for the record that no one has ever said that I have class. So maybe class is like subjective.
Okay, maybe it's one or the other because you do have style.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, I dress cute.
They need to have one.
But I'm a garbage person.
Had one of those.
He does dress very well.
So, but after she got to know him a little bit in the 5 minutes they were talking in the bar, he was charming. He talked about how he traveled often. He was really ready to settle down. He gave her gifts and was very complimentary of her. And the quote from Barbara, poor Barbara, is, and I thought, well, why not?
Fucking A. You know what?
No, honey. No.
And again, I feel so sad because she is in this reenactment. She is the only one of his victims who would talk to Unsolved Mysteries.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be too hard on her. I think I really respect her because she wants to put this out here so that other women don't fall for this. And you know what? She is not the only woman who has fallen for this. In fact, thousands have.
Yeah. And also, like, at that time, she was 41, which now is young.
Yeah.
But at that time, you were like, oh, God, I need to have a husband.
Totally.
Like, I better, okay, I'll just do this.
I was literally just going to say that. I was going to say that, you know, even though the 80s weren't like the fucking turn of the century, being 41 years old.
Oh, yeah.
And not married.
You're done. Yes. You're an old maid still.
Yeah. I mean.
She's like, he's nice enough.
Yeah. Okay, so as soon as they get married, it says basically literally as papers were signed, Carlucci became very possessive of Barbara, controlling, and he got upset at her even for talking to people at their own wedding. So they moved into an unfurnished apartment in New York and lived out of their suitcases. Carlucci paid for everything with her credit cards and then started taking out of her savings to pay those credit cards, but also just taking from her savings. He had bad mood swings. He was abusive, obviously. At restaurants, he would not even let her order for herself in case she were to signal someone else of her captivity. So she is basically being held captive. It says like all of her friendships fell away. And this also made me think too, like she had no way to tell anyone. But if you feel like a friend of yours is suddenly non-responsive
withdrawn,
especially after getting into a new relationship, that is a huge red flag. And I think most of us know that now, but I feel so sad for her.
Even if you're like the fucking waitress taking the order.
Yeah. Yeah. In the reenactment, it's obviously it's a reenactment, but it's very clear. And I bet it was like this. Like she almost starts to pipe up and then he basically puts his hand near her and speaks for her. And then the waitress asks her, Barbara, a specific question and he still won't let her talk.
Yeah.
Which is horrifying. And this actually reminded me of the book Behind Closed Doors.
Yeah, girl.
Everyone should read it. So he's maxed out all of her credit cards, emptied her bank account. He's just bled her dry of money. She's held captive for 6 months. She was never out of his sight, even to go to the bathroom. So Barbara thinks, there's no way out of this. I have to commit suicide.
So awful.
It's so awful. So she takes a razor blade, pulls the blade out, and is going to cut herself, but he finds her in the bathroom with the blade, about to cut her wrists. So at that point, I'm laughing out of like horror, but it says he knew she was going to kill herself or just like die from being held captive because it's horrible. So he decides to just leave because what is the point? So he leaves her after 6 months of marriage, draining her savings of $20,000, which would be about $40,000 in today's money, and has totally racked up her debt. He's left her with absolutely nothing. So it takes some of Barbara's friends some time to convince her to go to the police, which is common in female victims who have been brainwashed for 6 months. And
of course,
I have to say, so she goes to the police, and Detective Ken Kleinlein of the NYPD, he is no shame or no shade to police officers, but he's one of the first police officers in this series that we've seen that I really, really liked, at least in my segments. He was super sweet. You could tell he had a lot of sympathy for Barbara as a victim, and really wanted to find Carlucci. So according to Detective Kleinlein and the New York police, Carlucci is believed or was believed to have fleeced. I didn't know that was a term. His wife, yeah.
Fleeced.
Yeah. I didn't know that. His wives of at least $1 million. Oh, wait, by the way, he's been married 9 times.
9 wives.
I have in my notes that he has 30 children.
He has at least 30 children.
Suspected of 9 wives and 30 children.
Yeah.
This is before DNA, too.
Exactly.
Not before DNA.
I get into more kid stuff soon.
Okay.
So,
sorry.
No, you're fine. So, he's wanted at the time that this airs. They can trace him back to several states. They know he moves around a lot. They assume as soon as he left Barbara, he went to another state and found another woman, because that's just how he makes his living. When this airs, he was wanted for bigamy, grand larceny, and fraud. And I had to look up what bigamy was.
What?
I know. I didn't know. It's where you get married to someone else while you're already married to another person.
Big Love is called Big Love.
It made sense as soon as I read it. Okay, I just needed
that's fine.
I was like, of course. All right, so he's wanted for that. So he had 9 wives, but but some of them were at the same time. Who knows if he had more, all of that. So after the first airing of this episode in May of 1988, viewers called in and reported Carlucci living and working in Nashville, Tennessee, and he was going by the name of Louis Sarah. He reportedly lived 1 block from the police station. So he was arrested and extradited back to New York, but then let out on a $1,000 bond.
$1,000.
$1,000, which would have been about $2,000 in this time, which is still not enough money.
Because you're stealing all of the money from the women that you're fleecing.
It's insane. So a quote from him.
Oh, God.
Yeah, in New York, before he's let out on bond, he says, I saw the show. Wait. Okay, I'm not going to do an accent. That's not right.
Do it, girl.
I literally can't. Okay. I saw the show last week, but it never dawned on me that they'd run a show about me. I'm glad it's over. It's no fun being on the run. I'm not saying I'm an angel, but I'm not a murderer either.
Oh my God, I sort of love that quote, and I can hear it in a really thick New York accent, and I love it even more.
Why you should have done this.
No. Oh my God, no.
But you know what he does? And then he runs. Then he leaves. So
he's like, it's no fun being on the run. And then
shocking.
he runs.
So he promptly disappeared while awaiting trial. Then Unsolved Mysteries did a second broadcast of the episode, and viewers called in and reported him living in Los Angeles.
Of course.
Yes.
Love those viewers.
Yeah, and we need to keep a count as we're going through the episodes of how many Unsolved Mysteries had people call in for. I know it's at least one of mine, Jerry Strickland and Missy Monday.
Oh, I think almost... I would say at least 50% of each episode that we've done, right?
It seems like it. We need to keep an official count.
Okay, we will.
But this one counts as 2. So people call that he's living in LA. He's arrested and served 4 years in prison and was then released under supervised custody. So that's the update from Unsolved Mysteries.
What does supervised custody mean?
I don't know.
It's like when you have, house arrest.
Okay.
He's since passed away. There's not a lot of information, but I did find some stuff from the good old message boards.
Yeah.
There's a ton about children of his and children posting about him and saying, I'm looking for other kids of his.
Oh my God.
The 30. Yeah. And more, because a couple of the children, obviously, who are now adults, were his from the 70s, that it wasn't actually... They were not children of a scam. They were just like, he had also just slept with a bunch of women.
Oh, fuck.
That's what their moms have told them that they said on the message boards.
Okay.
So, and then like one I couldn't tell what gender, but someone posted, I'm not one of his kids, but my family was conned by him, and has caused my family tons of trauma. They didn't really go into it, but this was in 2006, this message board I was looking at. So this was like also before, this is still 2006, a long time ago. So they were like trying to find any information they could. I just wanted to read like one quote. It's kind of long, so we can cut some of it out, but it's from sitcomsonline.com. That's where one of these,
I found some stuff on that too.
Yes.
Yes. That is where the people have that's where they were posting in 2009 and like crazy. Around that time. Yeah. That's where everybody was like, let's talk about that.
And there was like a fight. Yeah, because that'd be before Reddit probably. I don't know. It was like this is 2014, so Reddit would have been there. But
yeah. It's just like
this thread started in 2006.
Because if you know somebody on Unsolved Mysteries or like you have like affiliation with that, what are you going to do? You're going to Google TV shows and what comes up? Sitcoms.com.
Yeah.
So like if you see that there's like people posting, that's where you're going to go.
And the thread like starts with the episode, like so you can go right to that episode.
Exactly.
So this is from, the username is God Knows the Truth. There's a lot of like when you read them, you're like, is this really one of his kids? It's a weird thing that happens on the message boards where you'll see fights between one person's like, I want information, I'm one of his kids. But then another one of his, who you assume is his actual children, calling that person out and saying, you're not actually. So it's weird because they're fighting about his what do you call that when someone's your father? Paternity. And yet they all think he's a scumbag. It's horrible. It's so crazy.
Oh my God.
So this person, I'll just read to you what he said. So he says, sorry, before I start, a lot of the dates in here that he gives are either I could not find that Carlucci was in jail at this time, or it didn't quite match up with what I had found, but to be honest, there wasn't a ton that I could find. So this is just, take it with a grain of salt. I don't know. I thought it was interesting, and who knows if it's even real or if he even is a biological child of his. But here it goes. It says, I am a biological son of his, and even though I only met the man 2 to 3 times in my life, I can understand all the pain and anguish and suffering he has caused so many people. I truly do not know the amount of people he hurt or the things he did because, like everyone else, I only heard from the news and family members what he has done. Due to the fact that I personally never heard from anybody about the things done to them, I cannot deny their pain. I don't know. Okay. When this episode came out, I was young and in high school. I was blown away by how he was portrayed in the show. If he was that much of an animal and did all those things and had all those kids, I'd pray for the suffering of those people involved. I know he was a sick man based on what I have heard through my family and stories I was told that I know are factual. In 2002, I spoke to the correctional facility in Minnesota where he was locked up. So 2002 is past when I found him to be in jail. So I'm not sure, but... So in 2002, I spoke to the correctional facility in Minnesota where he was locked up to let them know his mother, my grandmother, was on her deathbed. When I spoke to them, I found out he was being released days later and that he was very sick. He was told to contact his mother, and in Lewis fashion, he never did, and she died without speaking to him. I later got correspondence that he lost his leg due to diabetes, and in 2005, he passed away. From what I found out, he was laid to rest in Florida, and that anyone who could prove next of kin would be able to find out where his body was. Just like everybody else, being a child of his was an embarrassment. It shames me to know that I came from a monster like him.
Oh, so sad. Oh my God.
And there's probably over 30 of these adults who feel this way. And again, I apologize and sympathize with all the individuals and families he's destroyed. One of the biggest things for me was to make sure I never turned out like him. The hurt he caused me was something I will never forget, but if you can't move past it, you will never find peace in the world. The last time I saw him was 1986. He was in Queens House of Detention in New York. At the time, I was 18 and full of anger. So that 1986 date, that matches up with when he would have been in jail for the 1981 Barbara case.
That rings true.
Yeah. So I really could not find information of why he would have been in jail in 2000,
in Minnesota.
Yeah. It doesn't surprise me, but I just couldn't find it. I spoke with him and expressed my anger to him and how he destroyed the Carlucci name. After speaking to him, I got a glimpse of his mental instability. I got to do something that I'm sure most would want to do, confront their demon. Anyway, I'll leave it at that, but you can go look up sitcoms online if you want to read more.
I don't feel like someone would sit there and make that up.
I mean,
like it's the longest comment.
A lot of work.
A lot of detail.
So we'll post the link too on the website so that if you want to read the whole statement, you can read it.
So just like to end up, we've already talked about Dirty John, I think on episode 1 maybe. And I tried to look up websites from that where women can go and check, because some of them had posted John Meehan on websites saying he's dangerous. I know there are websites for that. I could not find them, but obviously in 1981 there were none. There was no internet. But just a PSA, like, check out those websites.
Yeah.
If it doesn't feel right, don't go for it.
Yeah.
Trust your gut.
Especially if you're using a dating website. When I was looking up the websites for like women alerting other women about con men, I couldn't find the specific website names, but I found story after story after story of current day women all over the place being conned by men off of websites.
Jesus.
Daily. So be careful. Yeah. So that's the story of Louis Carlucci, Barbara. We hope she's well, and all of his other victims.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that Barbara was the only person that came forward, and there are other cases of fraud that we're going to talk about in upcoming episodes where only one person or two people will speak and dozens have been affected.
Yeah.
And it's because you feel so stupid.
Well, and Barbara even said, like, the reason she's doing it is so that it doesn't happen to anyone else.
Which is so brave of her.
Yes.
She's the only one who would do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the same with that Dirty John thing, too.
Yeah.
Like, that was a huge eye-opener for me, even. Yeah. And I wouldn't be in that situation, but you can't, when you're listening to that, you can't believe how... You can't believe it, and yet you totally can believe how it could happen to someone super smart and who thinks it will never happen to them.
I think, like, I forget what they use, the terminology when people are in cults, but the way you double down, like where you're like, I already done this for 6 months. Like, I can't stop now. Like that kind of thing where, like, it'll be more humiliating to stop now than to just end it or admit that you were wrong, or, you know, and I find that really interesting and really compelling. Yeah, and it is probably happening, I would say, a lot more maybe than it used to, because there's the
internet.
For sure.
It's gotta be.
Probably like a guy used to blow through a town and like screw someone over and then just go someplace else. But now like you have access to millions of people.
And they know
websites.
who to look for. And they know what to look for on your profile to see if you have money. And,
Well, that's the other thing that's really interesting to me is that he went, like, this woman, Barbara, did not. She wasn't wealthy. It wasn't like he, like, walked into a bar and she was in a fur coat covered with pearls. Like, she had $20K in her account and he took it. But it's not like he was going for, like, these big fish. And I wonder if he did that consciously, because it's easier to go after someone who isn't super wealthy that isn't going to come after you. You know, like there might be an aspect of that where it's like, okay, well, if I steal $150,000 from this woman, like someone might pay attention. But if I take $20K from this woman I met in a bar, nobody's going to pay attention.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, and poor women aren't going to have lawyers. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Yeah.
They're not going to have good representation. I do just want to state that the photo I'm staring at right now, because we hang up the pictures of all of the people that we talk about, the image that they give us of Louis Carlucci or whatever came up in my Google search, he looks like Jim Belushi and Super Mario Brothers
mixed together.
Whoa.
Like a true baby of John Belushi and Super Mario Brothers.
You are not wrong.
Yeah. So I just want to say that while Eliza was telling this really sad, fucked up story, I can't stop staring at this photo. And I'm sure that he came across a little bit better than that, but when she said that he had no style and no class, maybe it's because he looks like John Belushi and Mario.
Does.
It's me, I'm Mario.
He has strong Belushi vibes, though.
Nice work, Eliza.
Thanks.
That's a great lead-in, guys, because we're recording.
Oh, great. Good.
Okay. Are we good?
Ready.
Okay. It was weird. Like, neither of you said anything, and I thought my headphones broke for a minute.
Hello?
I'm like in a constant state of paranoia.
Are you guys here? much better.
Am I alone?
All right, so the third segment is Diane Brodbeck, and they say just Diane Brodbeck, but I would like to parenthesize that and say Diane Brodbeck and Jon Yount, the man that she was with. The topic is wanted, and yeah, it's bananas. So on April 5th, 1986, in Wellsville, Pennsylvania, Diane Brodbeck, devout Christian, active in her church for over 20 years, disappears. Within 20 seconds is like one of the first mentions of her being like a moral, devout Christian. But I think they mean like a Trump Christian, not like a Christian, you know, like a selective Christian. So same day she goes missing, Jon Yount, a long-term inmate at a nearby prison, escapes as well. Robert Stack tells us that at the exact time he escaped, Diane was seen half a mile from the prison, driving on the same road where Yount vanished. I mean, he didn't vanish. Like, she fucking picked him up. Like, it wasn't a mystery the first time I watched it. I think I had it figured out right away, but whatever. So CI Trooper Will Madden says that he thinks she's alive and that she's with John, obviously. They've been missing for 2 years at this point, and authorities believe that Diane helped John escape. But her family is mystified as to why this respectable and happily married Christian woman would take off with a murderer. I think this is a more innocent time before literally like nothing surprised any of us, you know?
Totally.
Like we just like, I mean, immediately out of the gate, I'm sure when you guys watched this, you were like,
yes,
she fucking went with him. Yeah. The end. Like, you know, she wasn't carjacked on a empty highway in the middle of the day. So,
well, you might get to this, but do you get to like what her husband says?
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
Chester.
Yeah.
Chester.
Yeah. Just like so much denial.
Yeah. Or just like so much like, what is that? Like where you're just like, whatever. Like, starts with an R. Anyway. Yeah. Like resigning. He's so much like resignation. Yes. You know, like I feel like there's so much resignation in his interviews where you're just like, oh, honey. So then they cut, you know, to the family testimonials to back up the theory that she would never take off. Nadine Warner, Diane's mother, begins her testimonial with one of my favorite lines ever from Unsolved Mysteries. I know my daughter. You don't know your daughter.
No.
You don't. Don't say you know your daughter, because your daughter's probably a worse person than you could possibly imagine. As a daughter and a mother, you don't know your daughter. This is like such a reoccurring theme where you're like, oh my God, I'm dying inside for you, because you're going to be so disappointed when the truth comes out.
Exactly. Like just accept you don't know your daughter and you don't need to know everything about her.
Yeah.
Unless it puts them in danger.
Yeah.
But even
also, this daughter was a grown woman.
Yeah. This daughter is not a 16-year-old, like taking off or being duped. Like this is a woman. Well, I don't know. Yeah. So obviously the mom says, nope, she didn't do it. And then it cuts to Chester Brodbeck. I think it's Brodbeck. He's saying she helped, but only under pressure. And he can't think of a reason why. And he half-heartedly sighs and says, she could have been threatened by Jon Yount, but I don't know what happened. I really don't. And it's like Chester doesn't even believe what he's saying. And I feel so bad for him because he's on like TV and he's trying to make a quote unquote plea for his wife. But like,
so
Chester.
Sorry, are these testimonials before they know anything and they're just missing? Or this is after they know?
No, she's still missing at this point. She's still missing. Yeah. Okay. But she's been gone for
2 years.
Yeah. A minute.
Yeah.
So she's either dead or actively living with Jon Yount. You know, like... Yeah.
And I think he said something about that, too, like, or she's dead. Yeah. Or someone says, sorry, I'm probably skipping ahead of you.
Oh, my God, it's totally
But fine. Someone's like, she's dead or she would have contacted us.
Exactly.
And...
yeah, I know. Isn't that heartbreaking? It's so fucking heartbreaking.
It's so heartbreaking, because I can see myself believing that. For sure, you want to believe that about your family member, of course.
I mean, if either of you took off, I would assume that something bad happened to you if you waited 2 years to get in touch with me. Right? Yeah. I wouldn't think that you ran off with a child rapist and murderer.
I can't wait to do that to you someday.
Yeah. So poor Chester.
That's very sad.
Yeah. So Diane and Chester just celebrated their silver wedding anniversary, which I didn't fucking Google because I'm not 100. I don't know what a silver wedding anniversary means. I don't think anybody under the age of 40 knows what a silver anniversary is.
We're not there yet, I don't think. It's 25.
Yeah, it's like a certain year.
No, I know, but like I didn't know what year.
I think it's 25,
I don't
maybe.
know.
All right, so let's say 25. So Diane is just like a super like, I was just going to say busy beaver. Okay, I'll cut that.
Don't be a beaver.
But we love vaginas.
Okay, so anyway, Diane is very busy, and one of her many community activities is to write to prisoners, which I don't know if communities still do that. Like,
I mean, it's an interesting choice.
Yeah, and it's like one of your many activities.
Like you're saying with like the Innocence Project and stuff, like maybe that's where this is coming from. Like, oh,
sure.
I can...
Go ahead, sister. You got something to say?
As a human raised as a Christian, no longer a Christian, I can totally see a quote-unquote Christian woman thinking, I'm going to write to these men because I need to save them.
Girl, that's all I needed to hear.
Okay.
Evangelicals are like, this is my lot in life to save as many people as I can.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Writing a letter is a pretty easy way to do that.
That's true.
It's
and
a
then
lot
you can,
easier than going to talk to real people.
Yeah, and you can feel good about yourself.
Helping people in person.
I could see that. Okay. But yeah, because I was wondering if this was like something that I missed. Whatever. Anyway, one of the men she ended up writing to was Jon Yount. Yount's backstory, fucking. He was a math teacher in Dubois, Pennsylvania. On April 28th, 1966, Yount offered a ride to Pamela Sue Rimmer, one of his students. Yeah. I know.
Red flag.
That would never happen today, by the way. No fucking way. No way. I do not know any male teacher that would pull over to the side of the road and invite his teenage student into his car to drive her home. Really? Fuck.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
I want to say...
Sorry.
No. No one do that.
I
don't
like
like it.
You would hope it wouldn't happen, but... It 1,000% still happens.
Jesus fucking Christ. I got you.
I'm going to say nothing.
So from the reenactment, it seems like Pamela Sue really doesn't want to ride from Yount. So I'm going through the reenactment, and then I'm going to give the update, obviously.
Yeah.
So this is just from my perspective while I'm watching it. And I wrote, like, maybe he has a reputation for being creepy, but he insists. He literally says, I insist, and she gets in. Because that's what fucking teenage girls do. Like, with a man in position of power. Like, they relent. And like back then, and I'm sure today as well, teenage me, I would have gotten in the
100%.
Probably still me right now, even with all the knowledge that I have of why you should not do that.
Right?
Especially if it's someone that you know.
Exactly.
Even if they creeped you out, like even if you were at work and you were like, I don't like this fucking person, you would get in the car.
Yeah. I mean, I think you have to be open to the possibility that you might do that because we are taught to just suppress any of those instinctual feelings.
Sure.
Well, and it's like, don't make a scene. Don't cause a disturbance.
I totally understand that, and obviously I'm not victim blaming. There's like a whole fucking thing that you're supposed to say before I say what I mean to say. But knowing what you know and being the age you are now.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about being a teenager. As a grown woman, if you worked with someone and they creeped you out and they pulled over and asked you for a ride home, you'd still get in the car. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not sure.
I'm not challenging you.
I know it's hard.
I find it
know.
really compelling and interesting that you're both sort of hesitant because I would not.
Yeah, I know, because what's interesting too is I can see my brain going a million miles an hour and thinking, well, this person would never do anything to me because they would so easily be traced, like because they work with me, whatever.
Yeah,
but. That doesn't matter to someone who wants to hurt you.
No, that doesn't matter to the person that is like that wants to murder you. Yeah. That's super interesting.
I don't.
But I can just see myself talking myself down. Of like,
totally.
Don't be ridiculous.
Don't overreact.
You're being crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't get hysterical.
I think that's a very good point. I think it's something we all need to be aware of.
And I think it's very interesting that you brought that up because I just assumed that you guys would be like, fuck no, I'd never get in that car.
I'd love to believe that about myself, but I don't.
That's awesome.
If that's true.
Well, don't get in the car. Teenagers are generally disregarded because they're hormonal, they're young, they're crazy, they're this, they're that. but they're human beings. And like, we don't have ownership over teenagers just because they aren't 18. And if you're a teenager and anyone ever makes you feel fucking uncomfortable, get the fuck away from them.
Yeah.
Like,
get out of the situation.
You don't have to be rude about it. You don't have to, just get the fuck away from them and go find somebody and be like, I don't want this person around me anymore. And I fucking hope that we are currently in a position now where someone's going to listen. Because I know that when I was a kid and I was a teenager, nobody fucking listened to me. Like, it was always your fault, and it was never the fault of the adult.
And you were being irrational.
Yep. Yeah, or you're just misbehaving and you're not respecting the person that's older than you. Just Jesus fucking Christ.
I hope so.
You have ownership over your body. It doesn't matter that you're not 18 and you don't get to be an adult. Like, go. And, go. Because it gets bananas. So, Pamela Sue, she gets into Yount's car, and later that afternoon, her body is found. She's been I was like, she's ready. I was like, ready for this, because this is the type of person Diane Brodbeck left her family for. She had been beaten with a wrench, raped, and her throat had been cut.
Oh, my gosh.
You have no idea what it's like being in a car with a hysterical 18-year-old, Yount said, as he confessed.
Oh, no.
And blamed her.
Is that in the episode?
No.
Okay.
She overreacted, and he panicked.
Okay, that's everything we're talking about. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. So he was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life. And that would be the end. But it's not. Because 16 years later, Yount and Brodbeck started writing to each other. And I wrote in parentheses, play super gross voice of Yount's letters here.
Hi, my precious lady. I wanted you to be close to me so much today. I hope my enjoyment and adoration of you is an incentive to be the best you can. You are a classy lady. I miss you and love you, John.
Hi, my precious lady.
Oh, honey.
Oh, I want you to be close to me so much today. Also, I wrote, obviously not an English teacher with a sentence structure. I hope my enjoyment and adoration of you is an incentive to be the best you can. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? It's like not a sentence. I feel like that's how politicians talk. They're like, I hope you're good people and brave because 9/11. Like, it just doesn't make any fucking sense.
I'm horrified.
Yeah. And then he writes, oh, shit, this is funny. I just realized this. My favorite line I wrote is, you are a classy lady. I wrote, this is, oh no, I'm cracking myself up, and everybody hates that. Yeah. But I was like, this isn't even romantic. It's awkward. I was going to be like, if anyone ever said to me that I was a classy lady, but then I realized, I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Whoa.
I don't have to worry.
This is all coming full circle.
I know, it's crazy. Yeah. So anyway, he signs it like love always, John.
Well, Diane was into it.
Mm-hmm. So Faye Snyder, Diane's sister, pops up and says that Diane met John through another friend who had been visiting with him. So Diane was writing to multiple prisoners, and she was corresponding with prisoners in other states. Faye says that Diane was just always thinking of other people. Well, I mean, not always, because she definitely wasn't thinking of her husband or her 2 daughters.
Oh, no.
Or her mom or Faye when she fucking latered out, took off with this guy. Ugh. And then, without a hint of sarcasm, she says she really was a people person.
Oh, my
gosh. Fuck yeah, she was a people person. Yeah, she was. Okay. So Diane, people person, Brodbeck started visiting Yount, who was a model prisoner.
As they always are.
Dude, I love when like a model prisoner fucks up or escapes, because I feel like all the other prisoners that are shanking each other are like, ha ha. Like, at least you know where you stand with us. Like, ha ha, you fucking Shawshank Redemption fuckers. Like, but she keeps visiting him. It's taking her 2 hours to drive to Rockview Prison. She stays with him for 4 hours. It takes her 2 hours to drive home. So like, she's a super people person, like a super duper people
all day
person.
Long. An 8-hour people person.
I think twice a week. I think they said twice a week. Cut to Faye. Poor Faye. Saying it never occurred to her that Diane and John were romantically involved. Ugh. And then we're back to Chester. Oh. Chester says he knew that she was writing and visiting John, but that's as far as he knew. Really, everyone in this family and friend circle just like is not asking questions. Like no one is asking a question.
Okay, here's another argument for that. They just assume she is helping him, like saving him. So there should be no reason to ask her any questions.
Right. Like why would you ever assume she was romantically involved with him?
In that circle, we mean. Like, they would never assume that.
I come from a different circle.
You do, honey bun.
And where I come from, if you're driving 2 hours and spending 4 hours and driving 2 hours home, it's because you're fucking in love with someone. Yeah, that's a lot of Bible study. So on April 5th, again, 1986, Jon Yount, who got to work outside because he was a model prisoner. He didn't like get to work outside, like right outside the fence, because in the reenactment, the guard drops him off in the middle of a field to cut hay. Also, I was like, what do you need hay for at a prison? Like, probably criminal horses. You know?
Yeah, it's
those
the bad
criminal
horses. They gotta eat
would
something.
they stop kicking people?
Yeah, I mean, they're bad horses.
I'll go to prison if I can have a fucking horse.
All right. Therapy horses?
Therapy horses. Yeah. Welcome to Portland. Everyone has a therapy horse. So then Robert Stack is like, and that's the last time he was ever seen. And I'm like, I don't think so. I feel like Diane saw a lot of him after that.
A lot of him.
So there's this prison guard, and he is like right out of the Andy Griffith Show, which is such an old show.
Oh my gosh. If you have to explain the Andy Griffith Show to anyone.
Carlin, you're an amazing whistler.
Oh, thank you. Mine is just breathy.
The prison guard seems like he's right out of your favorite show. And he tells us that he was headed to the bowling alley around the time of the escape, and he saw Diane drive by. And that was the last time Diane was ever seen, says Mr. Robert Stack. But there is so much shade in his voice. It's amazing. Because he's like, fuck you guys. We all know what happened here. Come on. I'm Robert Stack. Like, I'm smart.
Get it.
Hurry
up.
Come on. So we come back to Chester, and detectives show up at Chester's door asking him about his wife. And Chester says that as far as he's concerned, they were totally wrong because she was on her way to Williamsburg, Virginia. And I was like, Colonial Williamsburg. Yeah. Never been. It's great.
Okay.
Cut that. Start over.
You love it.
Oh my God, I went there in like 6th grade, and they
Did you wear a bonnet?
Of course, I'm from the East Coast and went to school. Everybody goes to Colonial Williamsburg. All right. Anyway.
Don't cut that. It's great. Okay. Shout out.
Oregon Trail.
I want to go. Oregon Trail.
That's all we had.
Kill that oxen.
We're like, let's go to Oregon City.
The Donner Party. So poor Chester thinks that his wife is in Williamsburg, Virginia. And he believed that until Monday or Tuesday when she didn't return. And I love how Chester's like, I'm so fucking laid back. I don't know what day it was that my wife took off with a murdering rapist. Like, whatevs. But right before it cuts off Chester, there's like this hella like tiny moment where he takes a deep breath and it sounds like he's shuddering. And I don't know if he was about to like say that he thought this was bullshit or start to cry. So, yeah, it's like, it's a nanosecond before they cut it, and you're like, oh, fucking
Chester.
Okay. Everyone listening to this is negative a million surprised that Diane had a secret fucking bank account.
Oh, well.
She also had a secret car, which in the reenactment, I think, is a Datsun, which is awesome.
I mean, what year is this?
86.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
For a lady in 86?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For a church-going lady where everyone probably knows her?
Secret bank account? Are you fucking kidding?
I have a hard time because I kind of have mad respect, but then she also made
that's
poor
fine.
choices.
I mean, like, you know, we'll see that, you know, people make choices. But you're right. I didn't think about that.
Also, let's remember that Chester is not the bad guy here.
No, poor Chester.
Oh, for sure. No, I don't
it's
think.
Not like, go girl, get
right.
your secret bank account from Chester.
It's just impressive that she was able to set it up.
I mean, like no one's talking in the town about.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
If it's a small town.
I feel like if I went and got a secret bank account
everybody
in Portland, someone would tell my partner about it.
She also has a secret car. And I'm right.
A secret car?
Yeah, in a storage unit.
Car in a storage facility.
And it looks like a fucking Datsun or something amazing. It looks like a really fun.
That's
She bought it.
Girl, she is.
Honey, she bought it 2 weeks before he escaped. But who doesn't believe that she did it? The mother and the sister.
Of course not.
The mother, like, I get. Like, no mom would ever want to believe that. But the sister, so Faye is so hard into the fact that there's no way that Diane would do this that I started to question if Faye is trolling Diane. If she's like, she's the most moral person in the world and there's no way that she would do this. And I was like, I'm thinking like every time she says that, inwardly she's like, fuck you, Diane. I know you
love that.
I don't have a sibling, but I feel like sisters, if they don't like each other, or like they could do some like they could do some crazy psychological shit because she's smiling through the whole thing. So she's like, Diane has a very strong code of ethics. She was a moral person, and I'd like to believe that inwardly Faye was like, fucking bitch.
Okay, especially truly. I mean, I think so. Because especially in believing unsolved mysteries or knowing unsolved mysteries is like, we hope they see this.
Yeah.
Or we hope someone sees this.
She's like,
to call them out.
She's like, Diane, I really believe you. You're the most moral person I've ever met.
Like, thinking of it in today's days, like, probably not, because she would have a million ways to do that.
Communicate that, for sure.
But yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm either like, shut the fuck up because your sister is definitely with this guy, or I'm like, good for you, girl, because you're the OG of trolling.
I hope so.
I know.
Damn.
Right? So a month later, Diane's car is found in a motel parking lot, and it's an old Howard Johnson. They show an image of it, and I was like, oh, so old, so gone. It's 30 minutes from her home. Her overnight bag is in the trunk, and Mr. Robert Stack makes sure to mention that along with cosmetics and some jewelry, there were over a dozen pairs of underwear. Because this is a fucking sexy segment, Eliza. Sex. This is as sexy as we've gotten.
But also they said they knew on record that she had a 14-minute conversation with him the night before.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we all know what's going on here. So they interview Chester again. It's like just when you're like, this person's a garbage person. Poor Chester shows up and you're like, fuck. Poor Chester.
And his name is Chester.
I know.
How did I not write in my notes whatsoever that his name was Chester?
I know. I didn't remember that until you started talking. It's so
actually halfway through I wrote, Diane had a husband this whole time. No.
We here are super into research, so we definitely pay attention to tiny details like whether or not the subject is married. You're welcome. But he says this like super sad sentence. I didn't write the quote, but basically he says that for sure he does not like it that his wife has run off with another man. For sure.
For sure.
It's like, for sure. You hear that? I said it twice.
Sure, I'm not really pleased with it.
Oh my God. So, welcome to the update. Diane Brodbeck and Jon Yount were captured, and their mugshots are fucking amazing. So he looks totally different. Like, he looks like he looks like a math teacher I had in 7th grade. What up, Mr. Clark? But she looks like, you know those like before and after meth photos?
Oh no.
Yeah, she's up there. She's in an orange jumpsuit. And she like goes from like look at her. Look at her. Crazy.
Okay, we will post this.
Her crazy eyes, her crazy face. Like she looks like she
kind of looks like she doesn't have teeth.
Yeah, like some right? Eliza.
I mean, describing anyone as the aftermath.
I mean, okay. I think we've all seen those before and after photos. I'm talking about when they're like after 18 months of using meth, not 5 years. Because after 5 years, your face is tattooed, you don't have any eyebrows, and you have like open sores. I'm talking like I've been using meth.
Don't do meth.
Well, yeah. Thanks, Eliza. Are you serious?
In case anyone was considering this.
PSA, don't do meth.
Don't do it.
Because you don't want to look like Diane Brodbeck's mugshot. But I'm just saying she's not like super, super methy looking. She's just like mildly methy looking when she's been experimenting.
Harsh. It's harsh.
Just like a year and a half of doing meth. Yes.
And maybe she wasn't. We're not accusing her, but you'll post her photo. You'll know.
She's absolutely not doing meth. So the update is 2 viewers in Boise, Idaho, Don and Chrissy Humphreys, recognized her as a former coworker, Kathy Kerman. I love as an alias, Kathy fucking Kerman.
Wait, what would your alias be? Go. It's gotta have the same first and last initial.
It has to have
it's
alliteration.
It's got to be an alliteration.
God, I don't know.
No, you can't do that.
On the spot like that.
What would yours be?
I know it.
What is it?
Christopherson.
That's not the word.
She just said it has to have the same initials.
It does. Christy Christopherson.
Kathy Kerman.
I thought you meant the same initials as you have now.
Oh.
No alliteration.
I thought you meant alliteration. I didn't know specifically K.
So, okay, you don't have to answer, but mine is Christy Christopherson.
So.
Cut it out. Keep going.
Okay. So, two viewers in Boise, Idaho. This is always where the episode starts to fall apart. I just want to say for the record.
No. We're good.
It's great. We're good. This is the best
This is a great question.
So
we just weren't prepared for
it. We weren't prepared for it.
Right.
You have to write that out ahead of time. I would have had a good answer, but I'm not an improv person, so I can't think of something. Don and Cassie Humphreys recognized her as a former coworker, Kathy Kerman. Apparently, Cassie doesn't speak because of the interview. She's just slightly nodding her head up and down, while solemnly staring at Don. She's just like, yeah, you get it. So they called the FBI. The couple was arrested in their home.
After a month of surveillance.
Yeah, I know. They had to be sure. I don't know. That's crazy though, right?
I mean, yeah.
Most shows.
I mean, that's GSK level,
or maybe it's
we've been watching you.
Yeah, that seems excessive,
right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A month.
Well, or maybe maybe most of it takes a month and they don't mention it in the other segments. I don't know. But I thought it was crazy that it was a month too. However, working on my bad horse theory, when they show the house they were arrested at, there are 2 horses right by the fence. If I had
Matt Hay and making those rounds.
I'm hoping that they busted those 2 bad behaved horses out of jail as well.
Oh, I hope so. And she also bought a horse trailer that we just don't know about.
Yeah, I hope they're criminal horses and they have to
horses.
Wait,
horses on the run.
Wait. Just get the image in your mind. Wait, what's this guy's name? First name? What are we talking about?
John.
Just picture John running down. John Yount, yeah. Running down the freeway or highway or road with 2 horses trailing behind him.
And she's
trying to catch
up. Riding them. He's just.
Yeah.
Also, she's in a Datsun. She's coming to pick him up in a Datsun.
And the horses are running alongside the Datsun?
So what they do is...
What do they do?
So he gets in the car.
Okay.
They attach the 2 horses to the front because the Datsun weighs 12 pounds.
Oh, and the horses pull it?
Yeah. Just like a fucking Christmas sleigh.
And that's what took 14 minutes for them to talk about the night before.
Well, they were like, how do we hitch a horse to a Datsun?
But wait,
it's
how
not
do we
behind,
attach the
it's
horses?
in front.
Yeah. When they show the house, they show the horses. And all I'm saying is there are no coincidences. Okay, so here's how it went down. As per the Penn State Daily Collegiate, student-written newspaper, so everyone really cared about this.
Don't you talk shit.
Did you go to Penn State?
No, I wrote for a student newspaper for several years.
Oh, fine. I'm just saying I thought this would garner a little bit bigger attention. So on December 5th, 1988, Brodbeck changed her plea from not guilty to guilty and cut a deal. Her lawyer had some things to say. Ready? I love lawyers. She looks back now and she says, how could I have been so stupid? She was going through a difficult time in her life. Her children had grown up and didn't need her any longer. She wasn't getting the attention at home she needed or wanted, and she was very attracted to John Yount. Yount gave her the attention she needed at that point in her life. Brodbeck knew very little about Yount's crime. And her lawyer, McGowan, I don't have his first name, contends that the inmate manipulated his client and, quote, if she hadn't helped him escape, somebody else would have. If it hadn't been Diane, it would have been some other woman.
I 100% believe that.
Me too. Because another article I read said that Yount had a bevy of ladies coming to visit him throughout his stint in prison.
Do we have a photo of Yount?
We do. It's small. It's the guy with the big glasses. That's him. But when they so that's his original arrest photo. But when they capture him, he's fucking.
Let me see.
He's what's that actress?
Disappointed.
No. Because when they capture him, he looks really good. Not really good.
Okay.
I wouldn't fucking hook up with him. But he had his glasses are gone. He's got this really manicured goatee beard situation. His hair's shorter. He looks
We'll post it.
And meanwhile, she looks not much better, and he looks great. And it's just clear that he was sort of draining the life from her.
It makes me really sad because not that I would do this, but I can totally see how this would happen to this woman who's going to church.
Yep.
Her kids don't need her. She's bored.
Yep.
Her life is supposed to be like everyone who talks about her is like, she's so moral. She never makes a mistake. She never does anything bad.
So I'm a big fan of their landlord in Boise, Idaho for a couple of reasons. Her name's Patty Meyer, and she nails it with the quote, "The lady told me she loved him, Yount, and I know she did. How can she go back to her husband?"
Whoa.
Because good old Chester helped bail Diane out, went to court with her, and then took her back.
Of course he did.
Oh my God.
And marriage vows are forever.
Yeah.
To super conservative people.
Okay. I also love the landlady because based on her quotes, I got the feeling she was fucking pissed that she didn't know that they were fugitives. She said if she had known, she would have definitely turned them in. And she hasn't missed an episode of Unsolved Mysteries since.
Sweetie.
Oh,
yes.
Patty, I hope you let some other fucking fugitives move in, and I hope you fucking turn them in. Patty,
what
you're
if
the
that's
best.
just what Patty decided to do from then on? Is only rent to
devote
people.
her life to Unsolved Mysteries.
I hope she became like a fucking bounty hunter. It'd be even better if she called the FBI on literally anyone that moved in. The FBI's like, it's fucking Patty again.
From
Patty's
Boise.
like, fool me once.
Fool me once.
She's not letting it happen again.
Oh, shame on me. Okay, so I don't have a ton of follow-up, but in 2013, Diane's grandson popped up in a comment section of sitcoms online.
Dude.
Yeah. I mean, it's great. He writes, "Our family is doing fine. My grandfather died years ago, and my grandmother has since remarried and taken the name of her new husband. Honestly..."
Wait, so who would the grandmother be?
Diane.
And the Chester
The grandfather.
is
Chester
dead.
passed away.
Okay.
away.
I just want to make...
Yeah.
Yes.
You'd never suspect her of something like this. She's just a sweet old religious woman who loves cooking and baking. In our family, we don't really refer to this as anything except, quote, that time Nan went crazy and broke a dude out of jail.
Amazing.
Chester sadly died in 1995, but they stayed together until his passing. I found Diane. She's 75, and she lives in Pennsylvania, but I'm not going to dox an old lady who had some fucking Bonnie and Clyde fantasy. Her and Chester even have a shared tombstone because I looked them up on findagrave.com. Yeah. There's like another quote from her grandson who is just like, I don't know how old he was while he was posting in 2013, but he is super adorable because like he just discovered the fact that his grandmother busted a guy out of jail. There's a ton of information about it, and he's like asking if people can send him the episode, and someone's like, I can send you the episode.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then like he texted his mom that Jon Yount died, and his mom responded, I wonder if Nan knows. And he's like, yeah. So I think like once this like situation, quote unquote, occurred, like she just completely like went back to her old life.
Yep.
Then there's Jon Yount. Apparently, there are some people who feel as though since he did a lot of charitable legal work while he was incarcerated and on the run, along with the fact that his first trial was appealed because he didn't get his Miranda rights, quote, read fast enough.
Oh, no.
Fast enough?
I don't know what that means.
I hate stuff like that.
I don't know what
so
that means.
much.
I don't know what that means.
That is called a lawyer digging for anything they can find.
Well, there are a lot of legal people who, well, not a lot. I found 2 articles with some people who sympathize for him, with him. And I wanted to say a Yount sympathizer, but I feel like the word sympathizer is inflammatory, right? Like, what can I say instead? A Yount supporter? A Yount...
Sure.
The quote that I found is, Jon Yount committed a horrible murder in 1966 when he was 27 years old. In a few moments, a young woman's life ended forever, and in the eyes of the state of Pennsylvania, those moments were to define the rest of John's life.
Yep.
Hi.
Yep. Sorry.
Are you fucking serious? When you rape and like viciously overkill your student, it should definitely dictate the rest of your life. Definitely. Like, are you fucking kidding me? It's like white male baby boomers cannot take responsibility for anything. It's amazing. It was her fault.
He just killed one person.
I killed one person
and
when I was
supposed to dictate the rest of his life?
Yeah.
Did we ever talk about, did Diane believe that happened or not?
She said that she didn't know a ton about what he did, and he like totally played it down. So I think he insinuated that like something happened in the moment, in the heat of the moment, and that it was like an accident.
And she also can't Google in 1986 Jon Yount prison record or files.
Yeah.
It's so easy for him to get away with that.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, like, I'm totally down with prison reform. Like, the system needs to be fixed. Jon Yount worked for the system to be fixed. But to me, that isn't like, you don't get to get on a cross about it because you're actually in the prison system. So if I was in the prison system, I would work hard for the prison system to be fixed too. And
I would also say, I killed and raped someone. Well, guess what? I get to stay there.
He says that he never admitted to the crime. There are people out there that say that he, quote unquote, like did a bad thing basically, and we should forgive him because other people who've committed less crimes would have gotten out of prison by then. It's some sort of convoluted legal argument that just leads me to believe that, like, I can't cry for white male entitlement. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Don't say sorry.
Another one of the like articles was written by a woman. Like, she was the co-author, and I was like, really? Like, have you ever been in a place of danger in your entire life? Like, what kind of fucking denial are you in that you can write that this person should like have been let out and been forgiven? Like, it's fucking infuriating. Like, it's like, women, like, can you do better? Can you stop going against your own self-interest? Because here's the thing. Pamela Sue Rimmer wasn't just a random student. He'd been messing with her all year. He didn't just happen to pick her up. His car was seen around her house a few times before the murder, even though he swore he didn't know where she lived. The show completely neglects to mention that Pamela Sue was afraid of Yount and the way that he had been looking at her. She, quote, had been trying to get out of his class as she disliked him and told her mother, "Oh, Mom, you should see his eyes."
No.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
The show doesn't give any information about the Rimmers, and they should have interviewed LaVon Rimmer, Pamela Sue's mother, because it's fucking heartbreaking. Her son was killed in a farming accident 3 years before Pamela was murdered by Yount.
No.
One of the last quotes she made before her death was, "What he did didn't just end my daughter's life. It ended my life and my husband's life. I have nothing. No children, no grandchildren. No one calls me to say, 'How are you, Mom?' My life has been over since then."
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Yount killed himself in prison in 2012 at the age of 74.
Good.
He hung himself, and
Goodbye.
I'm not sorry.
No,
That's fine.
Yeah, so it's a pretty sad story. Mainly about the Rimmers or the Rhymers. Apologies if I'm pronouncing it wrong, which weren't the focus of the show. The show should have been about the murder of Pamela Sue and not about fucking Diane and John and their like Bonnie and Clyde thing, because that's the tragedy and it's heartbreaking. And unless you do any research, Pamela Sue is just the name that they say when they talk about why he was in jail to begin with, you know?
And I think that, especially at that time, but also now when you watch it, makes it so easy to just like hear a name and think, that wasn't really a person.
Yeah.
Or like as other humans hearing about someone getting killed.
Of course. It's a story, not a person.
Exactly.
Basically. And I would like to think that they didn't maybe know all of the details.
I hope.
Because, I mean, it's such overkill and it's such a rage killing and it's so violent and, you know, and then he blames her. I would like to think that, like, they either didn't want to get into it, but I am really surprised that they not showed him in a sympathetic light, but in a very casual, come on, get in the car, I insist sort of situation. Like, this came out of nowhere where it isn't true. He was essentially stalking her and she was afraid of him. Yeah, so that's the really sad story of Pamela Sue Rimmer or Rhymer and Diane Brodbeck and Jon Yount, who are definitely deserve to be secondary characters in this story.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we recording?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
So this is the fourth segment in the third episode, which is Treasure.
Woo!
The Beele Papers.
Treasure.
I like treasure.
So this is the story of the Beele ciphers, a.k.a. the Beele Papers, a.k.a. the Beele Treasure. So in the early 1800s in New Mexico, which after my research I realized was actually in Colorado.
I'm sorry.
Like at that time, it wasn't called New Mexico, but it was actually part of Colorado currently.
Good research.
What the fuck?
Weird.
I'm on a map. Post a map. I have literally no idea what you're talking about.
Well, we'll post a map.
Okay.
Thomas J. Beele and his crew of 30 adventurers found a large mine full of gold and silver. Beele and the men spent 18 months mining thousands of pounds of precious metals, which they then transported back to Virginia. So that's a long time. I don't know how they were doing this, but they buried the treasure in a secure location. So we have fucking buried treasure.
Buried treasure.
Buried treasure.
I think, like, I'm not disappointed by buried treasure segments at all. I find them fascinating.
It's just hard to follow up with all the
Oh, of course.
intense
I mean, there's not
drama
going to be a lot of,
with
like,
my dumb treasure story.
Sure. I gotcha.
So the treasure was about 21 million in gold, silver, and jewels, which at today's worth would be 43 million.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Whoa.
I would kill both of you for that amount of money.
You would not.
I guess not. I don't know.
You would. I know you would.
Eliza looks really offended.
How, though?
Girl, don't
How?
hate the player. Hate the game.
In-person killing? I don't
How?
think you could.
Describe how.
Well, I'm a woman, so I would obviously poison you because that's what we do. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't kill you. Fine. I don't need $43 million.
It's a lot of money.
God, I move on. Cut that.
Great, but I mean, so they take it back to Virginia and bury it. Beele then left written instructions in 3 ciphers about the treasure, which I had to look up what a cipher was.
Same.
I told Allison this earlier and she laughed at me.
What is wrong with both of you?
A cipher is different than a code.
No shit.
Is it a thing you turn?
What?
No.
Fuck.
I didn't actually look at it.
No, but it's okay.
I didn't actually look it up. I'm sorry.
It's different than a code.
KB
which
has to look it up.
This isn't my segment.
Eliza
Okay,
says-
Katie's going to tell me about it.
At first, I was like,
Don't lie and say you looked it up when you didn't.
I just said, yeah, me too. Like, I should have looked it up.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
So Beele left written instructions in 3 ciphers about the treasure. The first one listed the location of the treasure. The second explained what the treasure was, and the third listed out the names of the owners of the treasure and their family members who would be heir to the treasure. So Beele put the 3 ciphers and some other letters in an iron box. That's all I got. I don't know.
That's
He just put it in
amazing.
an iron box. In 1822, he gave the box to a local innkeeper named Robert Morris for safekeeping.
It's a
Always-
local
exactly.
innkeeper.
That's exactly.
Will you take my daughter?
Is that just like the trusted figure of the town? Is
I
like
guess
the,
like
the local innkeeper?
the local innkeeper is just like, yeah, I'll fucking hold on to that for you. You know,
I guess trustworthy.
Master of the house. Shout out.
So he gives it to fucking master of the house, Robert Morris, for safekeeping, and leaves again for New Mexico to go back to find more fucking treasure. Because obviously, keep going back, honey.
Yeah,
Okay.
you got a good thing going.
So Beele had told Morris that he should not open the box unless himself or one of his men did not return within 10 years.
Oh, no.
What? Morris is just so trusted.
Man,
I
that's
just-
crazy.
I'm going to give this to you. I believe that you're not going to open it for 10 years. It wasn't until 1845 that Morris finally opened the box and found the letters and 3 ciphers. Morris was never able to solve the ciphers and passed the box on to a friend many years later before he died. Yes.
I would just like to say that no one can solve those ciphers because they're fucking crazy. This is like Zodiac level.
It is. So
Wait, we never described ciphers.
just to give you an idea, Eliza, here's a cipher. You got it, honey? Do you know what it says?
so what I'm looking at is...
Sweet E, can you download that really quickly to your brain and then just like spit out the results?
La, la, la.
Real quick, just tell me what it says.
I love you.
Okay, so we're looking at a block
sweetie.
of numbers with commas in between them.
Yeah. I mean,
That's what a cipher is.
yeah.
Is this the cipher for the treasure?
Yes.
So here's a cipher, and then you need a code to go with this cipher to, like, translate it. Morris was like, well, I don't know what to do with this. Like, I have no idea what this says.
Mars is like, I'm so happy I held on to this for a fucking decade.
Seriously. So he passes it off to a friend. And in all my research, it's just a friend.
I want to be the friend.
You're not.
Friend who we just still don't know the identity of was eventually able to decode the second cipher using the Declaration of Independence as a key.
My arm's up. I have so much to say.
Is it about Nicolas Cage
Yes,
and the
it
fucking
fucking
Nicolas
is.
Cage movie?
Isn't that like a Nicolas Cage movie directly?
Girl, that's exactly what I wrote in my notes. I said,
National
"Is this the
Treasure.
Nicolas Cage
It's
movie?"
called National Treasure, which that's a
Called National Treasure.
Is it about this? Like, is this where they got
So?
the idea?
I completely assumed it was based on this story, but everything I Googled had no correlation whatsoever
Are
between
you serious?
that movie and this story. The National Treasure that is
I
Nicolas
truly
Cage.
thought this the whole time that this was that.
No,
honey.
I know, girl. That's what I wrote down too, but
right.
it's not. Here's how the friend decoded the cipher.
You keep using quotes for a friend.
Because we don't know who he is. There's nothing...
Or she.
Or she. You're
Or
right.
never know.
You never know.
So he took... he numbered the first letter of every word in the Declaration of Independence, and then for each number in the cipher, he substituted it with the corresponding letter.
It's so awesome. It's so awesome. This is so awesome. This is so awesome.
National treasure. You guys.
I mean, I guess, but nothing...
I've never seen
I was
National
like,
Treasure.
Is this about Nicolas Cage movie? And it was like, no. Google said no.
Because history
I
is
totally
better
believe
than
you.
Nicolas Cage movies.
But that's crazy. Yeah, oh, of course.
And I've never seen National Treasure, but my whole life, please just give me a cipher that I can give to my quote friend because I don't know how to do anything. And they
And be like, wait, 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't come back, then you can look at it.
Like, use the fucking Gettysburg Address to find a treasure.
Yeah, right. That's the other part is like he just had to figure out what the key was.
How
and
did he? How
stumbled
was he
upon
like?
the Declaration
It's
of Independence?
definitely. I mean, I guess if it's 1821, you're like, where do I start?
Sure. Yeah. Well,
Like,
and
now
I think
you're
not
like,
that long ago.
well, I do think you would be like, what is a very well-known piece of text? Like,
Yep.
so
Hey.
it's not that crazy.
That's insightful.
It's not that crazy.
Now it would be like a million pages of content. You're like, do I start with the wiki page for the Teletubbies? Like, where do I go with
It would
that?
be like,
Exactly.
can we look up Hamilton lyrics?
Yeah,
You guys
exactly.
would. So I'm not going to read what it translated to, but it's basically old-timey English for like, this is where the fucking treasure is.
And that was the second. You said there were three, and one said the location.
I'm sorry. The one they translated was the one that said what the
What it
treasure
was,
Okay.
not where or who.
It mentions roughly. So, okay.
Okay.
Something gives people the general idea of where it is in Virginia.
Okay.
I think he says Bedford County, something like that.
Okay.
But, okay, I'm just going to read the first sentence of it. I have in the episode, it's they're like long panning shots of like a valley with the sun coming down, and they're using this old-timey voice layered over top of it to explain the cipher. So I have deposited in the county of Bedford, about 4 miles from Beaufort's, in an excavation or vault 6 feet below the surface of the ground, the following articles belonging jointly to the parties whose names are given in number 3 herewith. And then it
Wow.
explains. But I'm sorry, 6 feet deep? What? I don't think that's how deep you bury a treasure.
I don't fucking know. How deep did you bury
Would
your
it, like,
treasure, and where is it
erosion?
located?
I mean, I'd just be concerned about like erosion uncovering it. I feel
Maybe
like
that's all they knew because 6 feet's what we buried bodies.
That's true. If you're like, if you want to get rid of something, I don't know. But the other 2 ciphers remain unsolved. One of them lists the heirs of the fortune, and the other lists the location. At this point, the friend, who we still don't know the name of, publishes the ciphers in this pamphlet in the 1880s. So this is how it becomes well known and famous.
Okay.
And that's like basically the story of that. So at this point, Unsolved Mysteries checks in with a few treasure hunters
Yes!
on the show.
White men looking for treasure.
Yeah.
Da, da, da.
Nothing else to do.
All the treasure hunters we check in with think they have at some point like broken 1 or 2 of the ciphers.
Okay.
So, and this is how they're like continuing the hunt. Yes.
I also think it's very funny that all of the treasure hunters interviewed are in different locations. They're like, this is definitely it.
Yeah,
And then
I mean, they're all in the general...
And then the other white guy's like, this is definitely it. And you're like, oh.
Yes. They're in
must do it
Virginia.
with
They're all in
certainty.
Virginia.
Yeah.
But yes, they're not in the same like exact location.
It's amazing.
So we have 2 brothers named Eddie and Joe Tony and their father-in-law, Earl Boggs. They all have amazing Southern accents. And they have spent 9 years so far looking for the treasure at the point that the show airs.
I have not spent 9 years doing anything except being
Seriously?
married.
I haven't even done that.
They think they've been looking for 5 geographic points mentioned in the ciphers and that they have found 4 of them already. So during the recording of Unsolved Mysteries, they're using their metal detector.
Fuck yeah.
And they find a 19th century carriage rod in the ground, which like actually is fucking cool.
That's
like you don't find that here
crazy.
in Oregon, folks.
No.
Oh, come from a land that is not old. Okay, people don't find old shit buried in the ground here. So they find this carriage rod in the ground, which they believe is definitely a clue. And the carriage rod is pointing in the direction of the damn treasure.
I was just going to say, is it pointing in a direction?
Yes, honey.
No.
I don't know how they're deciding that part, but they're like, for sure, we are about to find the treasure.
I know how they're
They
deciding
must
it.
believe something.
What were the other 4? Like, really, if this is how it's going, these guys are grasping for straws. So, The other treasure hunter we check in with is Wilbur Smith. And at this point in the show, he's already spent $20,000 searching for the damn treasure.
Is Wilbur married?
He is. And his wife is left at home.
Mrs. Wilbur Smith.
I think they were from the... it was far away. Like
They were from a time far away where a wife would be like, that's fucking chill. Just drop $20K.
In a place far away.
In a
Which,
hole.
in today's money, let me remind you, is $42,700.
God damn. That's a lot of money.
So I'm sorry, but if this motherfucker has that kind of disposable income,
Why are you looking for treasure?
yeah, treasure hunting, honey.
Yes. Glory.
Wilbur shows us one of the clues he discovered based on breaking the cipher, and it's this huge fucking rock, which he says he knows is definitely the rock it's talking about in the cipher because it has a face on it and it has a head on it.
Oh, shut the fuck
Stop
up. That's like seeing the fucking Jesus or Virgin Mary in the
Toast.
toast. Like, what?
So we're going to put a picture on the Instagram because I want you all to decide whether this rock has a
You
face
decide.
and a head
We'll do
on it.
it.
Wilbur has hired a local contractor named Ken Dooley to dig under the goddamn rock. Ken Dooley later tells us that over the last 25 years, he's dug holes for at least 20 people. No,
Well,
but he's
also,
serious.
he's raking it in. He's like,
Yes, honey. That's exactly what I wrote. So Dooley is either a true sweetie of the town helping everyone with their hopes and dreams or the evil genius of the town because he's making bank off digging holes for every idiot that comes through
And I bet he's got a whole
in the
thing
last
going
25
like,
years.
yes. Oh, I have seen this many times. I've never seen anything that looks
Oh my
this
God.
close to what
his
I
act
need
is
to
good.
treasure.
His act is good. Dooley is rolling in it.
Oh my
he's,
God.
He's doing
I
great.
love
Good
it.
job, Ken Dooley.
Yeah. Anytime there's an idiot, there's a hustler. And
Yes,
that's awesome.
Absolutely. So now I'm going to bring up a question that has probably not crossed your minds yet.
Okay.
Is it possible?
Could the Beele treasure be a hoax?
No.
Nicolas Cage.
I know. They do have a professional scientist, Carl Hammer, runs the numbers through a sweet 80s computer. I don't know what it's doing, but it decodes. It does actually confirm that the numbers are not random and do hold some kind of information.
Huh.
Okay.
Okay, so when we wrap the show, Wilbur has lost his job and is now living in a nearby hotel room,
Yeah, I think that's literally like written out, right?
which, I mean, it's sad, but you also spent a fortune trying to find a fortune. So I'm
Fortune.
not sad for you.
Zero sad.
Also, like, if he's living in a hotel, it's because his wife was like, good fucking bye.
Yes.
Get
Yeah.
fuck out.
I do not even have $1,000 in today's money to go looking for treasure.
Oh, I'm not
have-
sad for you.
I have like $21.50 if anybody wants to go look for treasure with me.
That's it. That's our budget for
That's our
treasure
budget
hunting.
for treasure hunting.
When we leave the Tony brothers and their pa-in-law Earl, they have run out of money and they have to go home, but they have faith when they return to Virginia that they'll find the treasure.
Did they?
No.
What?
At the very end of this episode, Robert Stack reminds us that unauthorized digging is against the law. And you know that he has to do this because so many dumb Virginians were about to run outside and start tearing up the town with their shovels.
If
I
you
feel
live in
like-
Virginia, it's not anything against you. You just know everyone would have been running outside.
So then we go into my research. I read a lot about the Beele ciphers, and we can go into more detail on the story of them, but this is supposed to be about the result. Weirdly enough, you guys, no one has found the treasure yet.
What?
I know.
I thought you would bring it here today.
Despite
thought
the fact
that
that
you
it's
were
only
gonna,
6
like-
feet deep and we know what county it's in, no one has found it. We're weird, I know.
The snark is so hard with you because
the snark.
I
it
thought
could just end there. It's so good.
Yeah, like Carlin's gonna do this and she's gonna be like, so there's no update. But you're right. It's in a specific county, in a specific state, and still after
Yeah.
60,000
People still have hope.
white guy dollars, they can't find it.
I know. I tried to research our Hillfolk friends, but I couldn't find anything about any of them. There's nothing.
I don't know if we have any folk friends.
People write about multiple reasons that this could all be a hoax, and here are a few of my favorites. Thank
Okay,
you,
can't wait.
Wikipedia.
Yes.
Later cryptographers say the encryptions weren't even in English. They're still confirmed to be not random, but they're for sure not English words. So they'll show like a long string of letters that do not add up to anything we would recognize as a word. People wonder why Beele would have put one single message in 3 different texts that all need two different keys to solve, especially if the end goal was to make sure his next of kin inherit the treasure.
Yes.
Like, why would that be like a puzzle? So, and then the third one, if the family is named in the last cipher, what incentive would there be to solve that one if the two before it describe what it is and where it is?
Fuck.
Why would you? Okay.
This is
the family's not getting that treasure.
This is
Either way.
disappointing. I'm disappointed.
Then we have the letters use several words in them. For example, improvise, stampede, and uproar, which were not otherwise recorded in the 1820s in the English language.
OED.
They were used in French and
amazing.
Spanish in the New Orleans area before this,
That's
but not.
amazing.
Lastly, we have the fact that the guy who published the pamphlet publishes it at a point in which the second cipher, describing only what the treasure is solved, but the other two are not. And the pamphlet has a price tag on it. It was sold at the time for 50 cents, which today would be $13.62.
Shut the fuck up. And he sold probably like 10. That's $1 billion. In
Oh no, he
1821.
sold way more than 10.
Oh my God.
So the friend in quotes that we've been talking about this entire time
Now I get why it's a friend in quotes.
was probably laughing his way to the bank while everyone else was wasting their life searching for the fake treasure for the next 200 years. Sorry, 200 years.
I feel like that's a lot of work to do just to misdirect people. Like, I mean, if it did line up,
but if it's the 1880s and you're like a struggling
you have nothing better to do.
friend of an innkeeper,
I forgot this was before Twitter.
Like they're gonna be working hard no matter what they're doing in their job. So he might as well do.
But he took the
this.
time to make it work with the Declaration of Independence, so that was his like
that's
wild
true.
card.
That part is a
That's
lot of work.
true.
Like maybe he did decipher it, and I don't know, but he
Yeah,
did
that's
make
true.
it line up. So like that is actually not a lot of work, but it's a considerable amount of work just to
And the
troll
just, like, brain
somebody.
But
for
in
50 cents a
research.
piece, that's a lot.
Yeah, and like what did the innkeeper do?
We're saying that if the friend published these papers, the innkeeper does not exist, and neither does Thomas J. Beele. I think we're saying
I
somebody
did
just
not.
wanted to make a dollar.
Yeah.
Okay, but it did definitely correlate with the Declaration of Independence.
And they gave people a lot of mystery to behold.
Yeah.
Yeah, and gave them something to do.
Yeah,
Apparently they've
And they're
needed and
still
continue to
doing
need.
it.
What? Go
Yeah.
on.
No, that's it. That's
They're
all I
still
have.
doing it, though?
There are still people out there that believe in this treasure.
Okay, I just want to say real quick, if you're searching for this treasure, you can give us your money, and we will not search for the treasure, but you
give
can give
you-
your money away,
Yeah.
which is exactly what it seems like you want to do.
The same.
That's it.
Yeah.
And we would love it.
give you
Well,
our
thank
PO
you.
box.
Do you need our P.O. Box address again?
We'll give it to you.
Because it's P.O. Box 14005, Portland, Oregon 97293. And if you are a treasure hunter and you want to give us your money, we'll make a plaque or whatever.
So
with
your
on it.
treasure money, honey.
Yeah. We're going to wood burn your name on something. It's going to be awesome. Wow.
That's it. That's the Beele ciphers.
That's
Nice.
it. That was awesome.
Good job.
I'm going to read the cipher.
Okay, Carlin, that was way more interesting than I thought a treasure segment could be. I'm looking forward to the others.
Yeah.
That was good. What have you guys been reading, listening to, watching this week? Anything to shout out?
I
Sorry.
recently read a book called Sound of Gravel by an author named Ruth Warner, who I don't know is still in Portland, but was Portland based when she wrote the book. And it's about growing up in a polygamist community. And it's a really fantastic read. It's super moving, so I don't know how to like elaborate on it without getting like
Yeah, you don't wanna-
outraged or sad or
You don't want a spoiler alert.
yeah.
It's amazing. Read
I don't.
it.
Yeah, I don't want to read like I
I
don't.
just started it, so I can't vouch yet.
okay.
Highly recommend.
Yeah.
I recently read The Immortalists by Chloe Benjamin, which is an amazing book about 4 siblings who go and see a woman who claims that she can tell people the date that they're going to die. And then the rest of the book is all about the 4 siblings' lives as they lead up to that date and whether or not that's their actual date of death or not. It's gorgeous. I cried. I never cry. It was amazing, and I highly recommend it. Chloe Benjamin's also a knitter. If you like knitting, she's a fun follow on Instagram. So yeah, highly recommend.
Do you want to know the date you die?
So I was thinking about this because we talked about this a little bit when I was telling you about the book, and I was a hard yes. And then now I don't know.
No, I'm hard no. I don't want to live my life based on that. I don't want to know. I don't want to be in fear of that.
But I also feel like in some ways it could give you a really good life because if you knew you were going to die really early, you would do all the things you wanted to do.
Yeah.
But what if you spend your whole life like trying to prevent it or like trying to, I don't know.
I guess I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't spend my life trying to prevent it.
You don't think you would?
No, I would just be like, this is the date that I die, so I'm going to go do what I want until that happens.
Oh, I would James Franco that shit and be like, I will go back to the time that I can stop this from happening. Like, I would not. No, absolutely not.
James Franco.
Okay. Okay, everyone should read it. Allison and Carlin, you guys should read it.
Okay.
Read it and then tell me what you think.
All right.
Maybe your answers will change or maybe they'll stay the same.
All right.
All right.
KB?
I'm the worst. I'm not. I mean, I'm reading something, but mine is that me and my husband have been watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah.
Yeah, girl.
Buffy the Vampire
You're
Slayer,
not the
because we
worst.
haven't, neither of us had really truly watched it before, and it's pretty amazing. It's a 90s gem for sure. Like most of what we're enjoying with watching it is just like reliving those 90s moments and those outfits.
Oh,
and
yes.
I don't
Like
know.
butterfly hair clips.
Yes, 100%.
So many.
It's pretty good.
But it was also Joss Whedon, and he wrote, like, Allison Hannigan was a lesbian. That was, like, a big deal, you know?
Spoiler alert.
What season are you on?
Literally the third episode.
Oh, my God. Sorry.
Shit.
But that explains a lot now. I get it.
But-
okay.
All
thanks.
right. If you haven't watched Buffy, sorry.
We're cutting this. We're cutting the
I
whole
can't
thing.
be mad, girl. It's been like
Talk about Buffy
fucking
again.
years.
I'm
Yeah,
so
no, it's
sorry.
great.
That's
also,
funny.
like, what is the... Listen, if there's a statute of limitations for beating a woman to death, I need a statute of limitations for revealing what
That's
happens in a
true.
shower.
Yes.
That's
no,
true.
I say that all the time when people are like mad about don't spoil Lost for me. No.
Get the fuck out of
no,
here.
No.
Get out of here.
Yeah. No, I'm not mad.
No,
I like it.
I know, but I
actually
do
like
feel
knowing
bad.
that ahead of time.
Oh,
No, don't cut that. I like that. All
all
right.
right. I'm not going to cut anything. Oh, hi. This is me doing the outro. Email us if you have any more information on the cases, if you have an unsolved mystery of your own, or what mysteries of the show were your favorite, or if you know how to read a fucking cipher, email me. If you have any recommendations of things that you like, that you're watching, reading, loving, whatever, subscribe wherever you get your favorite podcasts. If you like us, please leave a review and tell a friend. Follow us on Instagram at _solved mysteries, Twitter on @resolvethepod, and Facebook @resolvethepod. And you can go to our website and email us at resolvedmysteriespodcast.com. Thanks for hanging in with us, and I feel like we sort of crushed it this episode. So
We got our shit together.
we definitely, like, aren't we showing promise? I feel
We
like we're
drink
showing
less wine.
promise. Yeah.
Stick with us. Thanks, guys.
Stick with us, and I won't stick with Rosé.
Bye.
Bye.
That's our tagline.